And we are live. All right. Hi, Bridget. We are live. So I'm just going to check to make sure that we are. I see us where it says streaming on Facebook. Let me just make sure. Here we go. We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Eileen. My name is Eileen Carlucci, Redesign Your Life Coach, and I'm the author of the upcoming book, Your New Life Starts Now. And every Wednesday, I am right here either at 7 or 7:30. And every week, I get the true honor and privilege to interview a fabulous, amazing female entrepreneur where they share their story of reinvention, how they started their business, their amazing services, and words of wisdom every week. And this week I have the amazing, beautiful, lovely, this lady is a powerhouse, and wait till you hear her story, Brigitte of Bridgetbrands. And Brigitte, thank you, Brigitte. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here tonight. I'm truly honored to have you as a guest. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you for having me today.
You are so welcome.
To be here.
You are so welcome. So I just want to make sure I say your name right. So Brigitte, and then it's Bojkowszky.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to make sure I know. Sometimes I get my first name, Eileen. People say Elaine, Ellen, Irene. And then I wind up answering, I'm like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I want to make sure I say your name right. So.
Yeah, sometimes when people ask about my name in a hotel, they say, no, we don't have someone like that, but I'm staying at the hotel. So that's how complicated my name is.
Yes, yes. Well, you have an amazing, what I love about this weekly show is we get to hear, everyone's story of reinvention, and you've reinvented yourself many times. You actually called it waypoints, which I love, and we're going to talk about. But let's kind of start, tell us about yourself, because you have an amazing story of how you constantly reinvented yourself, your whole life, really. And then we'll talk about your business.
Yeah, so actually, where should I start? Because I've, as you say, reinvented myself several times. So I start at the beginning.
Okay.
And the beginning was very early in my life. And that was, I wanted to become a flight attendant. And that was my first job, actually. I wanted to travel and see the world. And 30 years ago, this job really was a prestigious job. Every young girl wanted to become a flight attendant, and so did I. And I was lucky, I got accepted, and it was an exciting time. I flew for 5 years from one destination to the next one. I spent a week in Cancun, 10 days in Bangkok, Singapore, Australia a week, Miami, Caribbean islands, Los Angeles, you name it. I was all over the place for 5 years, mostly flying long hauls. So that was really exciting because I really got to know the world. I got an understanding of different cultures. I could, since I was there for 10 days, indulge and immerse into that specific culture. So I really got an understanding of how people are and why they do things their way. So that was what it was, a huge learning for me. And also flying from one place to another place and serving people, I found myself. So I understood that serving people is what I want to do for the rest of my life, but not only as a flight attendant, but also in other ways than going forward. So it was really an interesting time for me to do so.
Yeah.
So,
wow. So you wanted to be a flight attendant, you did it. So what made you switch careers? How did, because I know you have a business now, but how did that happen, all of that?
Yeah, so, don't understand me wrong. That was a great job, and giving something like that up was not an easy step to do. But I was missing more the intellectual part. And beside that, I knew there was an end date when my contract ended, and that was with 36 years of age. I know that sounds strange, but at that time, that many
was the rules back then, right? Yeah.
25 years ago, Yeah, our boss only wanted to employ young flight attendants, and that was how it worked in the 90s. It was Niki Lauda. I don't know whether that rings a bell, but he is a former or was a Formula One car race driver. And there's actually a movie called Rush, and it's on Netflix. If you want to watch that, watch it. It's about his life, the accident he had as a Formula One car race driver, and then when he started his airline. And I was one of that girl, so one of the employees that started his airline, and it was really an exciting time. But I knew there was an end, so I knew I had to do something, and I went back to school. So I traded my job for being a student.
Wow, what a transition that is, to go from a flight attendant traveling around the world. And then, and then going to like, I'm going to become a student. Like, what made you decide that? Just because you were missing the intellectual? Is that what you said?
Yes, exactly. So I really sacrificed this wonderful jet set life with being a student, and on my towards the end of flying, when I knew I want to study, I was thinking all the time about what do I study. So I thought business and business education, because I always liked to teach. I wanted to combine that. So I started business, international, and teaching. Because I love to be an international person. I love to work with people from different nationalities. I like to lead teams, multicultural teams. So that was kind of what I was up to for. And my goal was going back to the airline industry, because once you are with the airline, with the aviation, this is such an interesting industry. Once you are infected, it's like a virus. You never can let it go. It stays and it remains part of your life.
I can imagine.
So I wanted to go back into corporate, into marketing, and manage the marketing department, something like that. That was my goal, but it didn't work out, because when I graduated, airlines rather fired than hired. It was a turbulent time, and it still is a turbulent time for airlines. There's a lot of mergers and then acquisitions going on, so they didn't hire, and I had to reinvent myself again.
So you're a student, and then how long did you go to school for? How long was that journey?
I finished within minimum time.
Okay.
That was 4 years at that time. I did it was kind of a bachelor and a master program all together. We didn't have bachelor and master, so it was 4 years.
Okay.
4.5 years, because I also became an educator. I'm a certified teacher. So that was in addition to my studies of international marketing and management, business education. So it was 9 semesters, and I did it within the 9 semester.
Okay, great.
Because once you have already had a job and you're in 25 years old and you start studying, it's rather late, and then you make up your mind before you make such a decision. And I'm a strategist, I think ahead. And then I thought, I cannot study for another 5, 6 years or something like that. I do not have the money. I do not have the time. So you need to be very intentional with what you're doing. So I knew I have that much time and that much money. I had to support myself as well. So and it worked out. And then I went back to the industry. I worked for different companies in managing positions. And then there was an opening at the university I applied for. I went for my PhD. So I did my PhD in international marketing management and started continuously teaching. And I have been teaching as a sideline more or less since that time. So that's that's 20 years.
Wow. That is incredible. So flight attendant, you had a whole career doing that, traveling the world. Then you become a full-time student, get your PhD, and then become a teacher, a professor. And like,
yeah, but in between, there was something else.
okay,
So
what was
I did
that?
my PhD, and then I went to the US to teach for one school year international management in St. Louis at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. I really enjoyed that, but I do not consider myself just as as a professor. I need to get out into the world, into the private sector, and really be in the whole chaos and really try to put things into action.
Yes.
I'm not a theorist only. I like to combine the two worlds.
Yes.
Yeah. You need frameworks, you need proven frameworks in order to apply things in a way that you can sell it and say, yeah, this is based on the facts. Yeah. But also you need to apply it. Otherwise, one cannot live with the other, I think. So if you combine both of it, you're pretty safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like about it. Yeah, to bring both things together. Yeah.
Well, something you said before, which I love, when you called it the waypoints in the airline industry. Can you just explain? I thought that was so cool when you shared that with me earlier. I'm just going to see if there's any comments. For which I love when you called it the waypoints. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't see any comments yet, but I was, yeah.
Yeah, a strategist goes from waypoint to waypoint. It's like milestones. But I like to say waypoints because in the airline industry, the pilots, when they are en route and flying from one destination to another destinations, they have to go along the waypoints. They're given by the dispatch. And they always have to kind of check back whether they are en route. And that's always from waypoint to the next waypoint to the next waypoint. And that's like the journey in life, There are more critical waypoints where some magics are happening or some setbacks are happening. And I think reinventing your life is a waypoint. You have certain decisions consciously, intentionally. Now there is something going on that is either a major learning or a major kind of a detour you might have to take because there's a hurricane coming, along. So if you want to go along that lines, you have to kind of pivot yourself around, that's life, and that's the spice in life. That's what makes life interesting, we need that. Even if you don't like it because it's challenging and you're getting out of your comfort zone, and then you need to find new ways, creative ways of how to overcome that challenge. But it makes you richer in your personality, and it just gives you a lot of new ideas that help you to go forward in a more, let's say,
no, I totally get it. It's funny when you were saying that before. When you were talking about the waypoints, I worked on a cruise ship and I was a professional dancer, and we'd have sometimes we'd have to, go away from obviously a hurricane, and we'd have to change a lot of the choreography because you're like kind of rocky. It's okay. So no walkovers or whatever, you know what I mean? But I can imagine, like sometimes you have to go land somewhere else and you weren't expecting it. You're probably, as a flight attendant, got so trained to like things change very quickly, right? So wow.
And that's why it's so good. You have procedures in place you usually follow and comply with, because that's something that becomes your behavior. You are trained. It's a routine. And when something else happens, you have the capacity, because you can check everything else. It's just natural for you to do that. But then you have the freedom, to react to irregularities that are on the way. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And accept that, like the yin and the yang of life. They say if you can be happy with things are going to be bad in life and things are going to be good, right? And if you could accept it all, it's just life, right? So that's so true.
And through these detours, you learn so many new things, and things of how you actually can do things better or in a different way. So it opens up all these possibilities you would have never thought about
Exactly.
existing.
Exactly. Yes, those detours are the best, right? Because it opens up a whole new
Exactly.
world of possibilities. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that.
Isn't life fascinating? If
It
we see
is.
it from that perspective in a
Yeah.
positive way,
Yeah.
it's just wonderful to be on this journey. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an incredible journey. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're all right, so you finished, I think you said you ended your career well, you're still teaching, right? But
Yes, yes, I still do as a
okay,
sideline. I still love it. This
okay.
semester, I've taught global branding strategies at the university and global marketing in general, where we talk about internationalization of brands and market entry strategy and standardization and localization of brands. That's what I
Wow.
did that
That is
semester. Yeah.
incredible. So how did that, you're teaching and so what made you start your business? What, just because you had all this training and it was like,
Yeah, yeah. So I had an 8-year contract, which terminated last year in
okay,
February. And we know what happened in March.
we
So
do.
I knew that my contract is going to an end.
Mhm.
And this was another dream of mine. I always wanted to start my own business. I never was confident enough in earlier days to really make that brave step. And last year I knew I have everything I need.
Mhm.
I have taught so many years. I have my experience. I have life experience. So why not putting that all together and start my own business, Bridgetbrands? And then COVID rolled in, the pandemic hit, and I could not go out in that way and apply my business model, which I intended. That is doing in-person workshops and one-on-one coaching. So I had to figure out right now when it hit how to basically put that into action. So I could not. And then how do I create awareness in the market? As a professor, it's just, everything is given. You have
Right.
attendance
You were
lists.
trained in pre-pandemic times, right? You were trained to do things. Now it's like a whole new world that, we all
Yeah, and
figure out, right?
yeah, and you get all the papers from the administration and the student list, and you just start teaching.
Yeah.
And now I figured I actually have to go and acquire customers
Yeah.
in order to offer my services.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a different story. So I
A whole
started,
different story.
yeah, and I started my own podcast. I'm a podcast junkie, podcast lover. I love to listen to different podcasts on my run, and so I thought this would be one way of getting my word out. And it's a podcast for brand lovers. I invite CEOs, business owners, experts to tell their stories. And who doesn't love stories?
Oh,
who
yeah.
doesn't love brand stories, right? So that's always really interesting to listen to and learn from. And it's a weekly show.
What is the name of it?
It's called
Brand
Brands Talk.
Talk.
It's
Okay.
all major platforms. So give it a try, listen in. I actually dropped another episode yesterday. So yeah, it's something that really inspires. It's really about global brands or sometimes about personal brands. And I put my focus more so on corporates who have transitioned into their own business. So
that's more like your ideal client, someone that was in the corporate world transitioning into their own business.
Exactly. That's what I'm focusing on right now, but I'm also still covering company brands who tell their stories. So that is my podcast. That's what I started out. And then, the way we learn and consume education also has started to change. Yeah. And COVID accelerated this evolution, and businesses have shifted now more so to online platforms. Yeah. And that much faster than before COVID. And I saw myself also in doing that. So there is this silver lining of COVID that made me also shift my business online. And since I have already created and developed online courses for universities and executive MBA programs, I thought, why not doing that for my own business?
Yeah.
I'm starting now. I'm launching my first online course in January. It's called,
awesome.
This course is called On My Brilliance, Make Brands Shine. And it's for corporates. It's a 4-week course for boxed-in corporates who are unhappy in their 9-to-5 job and who dream about their own business and desire to become their own boss, who have a side hustle, but also lack the confidence and clarity to make the transformation into entrepreneurship and build a brand that shines, that customers love them for. So it's really for people who always wanted to do that. Maybe they find themselves unemployed suddenly, don't want to go back to the office because they really enjoy working from home. And yeah, lacking this confidence. They have kind of, this limiting beliefs that keep them from doing this step. And I was the same one. Yeah,
we all are. It's scary to start a business. I get it. Yeah.
It is, because you are going into the unknown. You don't know whether you're gonna,
there's no paycheck coming. It's like you have to generate it yourself, right?
Yeah. It's leaving the safety net.
Yeah.
You're out there. Yeah. But you have to find your confidence. You need to believe in yourself that you can do it. And that's part of my course. So my course, the first thing what I do in my course, it's all about having a vision and shifting your mindset from a worker, from an employee to a business owner.
Yes, that is so helpful.
Fear into the action. Dissolving all these limiting beliefs that you might have been raised. I was raised with a lot of limiting beliefs.
We all are.
Yeah. So, and it did not do me well because it kept me from growing beyond. Yeah, this. I know from my parents, it was like comply with the rules, be quiet. Yeah. You know? And I was always
stay in your job. It's safe.
Should I do that? I never trusted.
That's how society is until recently, really. Now it's different, but years ago it was like, play it safe, stay in your jobs for 30 years. And then that's how it used to be. But,
the thing is, we have to give ourselves permission to do it.
Yes.
And commit to it. Take action towards and go fully into it. And it's never as bad as you think it is. And then it can also be joyful. And a lot of people fear. But once you take action, fear and taking action cannot really coexist. Once you take the action, once you are brave, once you are courageous, you leave fear behind you.
Definitely.
Because you are kind of walking that path, and then you see you are in this experience of making yourself comfortable in the uncomfortable, and then is the time when the fear is disappearing, and then you see it's working.
Like doing a Facebook Live the first time. Remember the first time you did that, and then years later, when you've been doing it a while, you don't even think about it. But the first time you're like, it's scary because it's like that's.
And everyone is starting. People can talk a lot. But they should do it. And once, already doing it is a very brave step. You are out there. You're showing yourself to the world.
Oh yeah. So, I just want to say, I see Jennifer on here. I see.
Jennifer,
Brenda, Jennifer Hocutt. Hey, Jen. She said, so good to see you. She goes, yay for launching your course. So incredibly proud of you. I know Jen's lost a course, and you guys are friends, right? Business partners.
And this is another thing. When you are out there, you need partners who are in the same, in the same sphere, in the same industry, kind of, let's say, online course creators. You might be in different businesses, but you need to get together with like-minded people who have an understanding what you're going through. People that have your back, people you have your back, you lift each other up. You need to have someone you can talk about topics that or challenges. You exchange ideas. That's a wonderful way of growing. And because being a business owner and starting your business can be sometimes very, very, very lonely and scary.
Solopreneur, right? We don't have coworkers. There's no HR. Who do you call? Exactly. I'm in an online, like a, online coaches group. And it's really amazing because we're all, some people don't understand, like, what do you do? You're a coach and, are you still doing that? Like, it's just, so it's just, they totally get it, how it,
Yeah. And that's
yourself out there and self-generate and get, look for, all the opportunities and to service amazing clients and give them great service. And it's nice to share that with other people.
Absolutely. I think I couldn't make it without my friends, my peers
either
believe in me, because sometimes, you're having a hard time. It's hard to really believe in yourself when you are just overwhelmed with a certain situation, but others believe in you. And that's such a beautiful thing because they get you back on track.
Yes. Well, Jennifer is one of the first people, one of the first other entrepreneurs when I said, I'm going all in, I'm an entrepreneur. We met at an event. So it was so great because we've been, I always call her when I'm like, it's just so nice to be able to talk to someone. So thank you, Jennifer.
Wonderful.
Thank you everyone for joining in. This is such a powerful conversation. So if there's somebody watching right now and they're like, I'm done with corporate America or whatever, I'm done with working, I want to have my own business, but I'm scared. So if they cut, what are the steps in your course? Or how would they, does it have to be a certain,
Actually, my course stores are opening soon. I'm gonna launch it next, January, actually. Ooh. So the course starts on January 17, and I'll give you the link for the wait list.
Yes, I'm going to share that. They could read about it. Yeah.
So it's a 4-week course, and in the first weeks, it's all about having a vision and the mindset shift of dissolving these limiting beliefs that are in your way of making the next step towards solopreneurship, towards having your own business. And the second week is the second module. So it's 4 modules, 4 weeks, 4 modules. And the second module is all about personal branding. So you need to first discover yourself, who you are actually, and define yourself. That's what we're going to do in the second week. It's all about making your personal brand strong, building your personal brand. The third and the fourth week, it's about your business. So how much of your personal brand ties into your business? So what's your business gonna be like? Who is your ideal customer? How are you going to position yourself? So we are going through all of that steps. And how do you communicate? What are your priority communication channels to your ideal customer? And we finalize with kind of the brand building pyramid, because you only can build a brand from the bottom up. You cannot start with fostering a long-term relationship with your customer, because first you need to get your customer right. And then also the so-called lean canvas business model. It's a model that shows how you as a company is basically running its business with your value proposition, where you see your income stream, where you see your costs. So that would be the last lecture basically of the whole program. So it starts with vision and it ends with your business model, with finishing up building your brand, your company brand.
That is all so important, because when you go into it, you're just starting a business, you really don't know what you're doing. So that is to powerfully set yourself up with a business. That's incredible. What a amazing program.
You need to have first your confidence. The confidence has to be, you really want to do that. You need to be You need to commit yourself. You need to be intentional.
Yeah.
And then I will give you the plan. There's a roadmap. So we start first with the confidence, with dissolving the limiting beliefs, with having a vision. And then I give you the whole roadmap of building your personal brand and your business brand. So that ties into each other, because if you are your own business, the face of your own business, the personal brand is the business. So you both, right?
I love it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like one brand, personal and business. Wow.
And also in big companies and corporations, there's always human beings behind this. Corporate brands, product brands, service brands. It's human beings that are backing this brands, so strong personal brands like Musk and Steve Jobs. So they're all personal brands.
They are a brand, that's for sure.
Winfrey is a personal brand and has $1 million business, right?
Yes, yeah, it's so important, branding. Wow, and you have had such, with all the schooling you've had and the PhD and teaching for years. I mean, you know your stuff, that's for sure. And this sounds like an amazing course. So amazing.
Yeah, I know.
So anything else that you want to say about your services or your course or anything else in closing? And we're going to talk words of wisdom in a minute, but anything else that people want to know? And I am going to give them the link tree to get in touch with you as well.
Yeah, the link tree has basically everything on it. My company website is Bridgetbrands.com. So you see everything what I'm doing, my about page, my podcast Brands Talk. And then I also give you the link to my waitlist of the course. It's going to be an amazing course, and it gives you everything that you need to finally, for you as a fence sitter out there, if you really want to start your business, that's the course you have to take. Then you have your confidence, you have the clarity, you have a roadmap that you can work yourself through. I think that's so important, that are helpers that support you, and you're not alone. You're not alone out there. And that's really important. There is something I can hold on to.
Yeah. Well, you hear that, everyone? It's 2022. If you always wanted to start a business, now's the time, right? And you have this amazing support and such a fabulous course. So Jennifer said she loves her business besties. We love you too. Highly recommend both of these powerhouse ladies. You're so sweet. They will be best resources to your success. It's so nice. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah. So if anyone has any questions, please leave them in the comments. Bridget, I loved hearing your whole story, from flight attendant to school to getting your PhD to being a professor and all the training you've had, and then launching this business in the middle of a global pandemic. And what an amazing product. Yes. And I just love your story.
Thank you. I mean, all these challenges are just opportunities out there. You just need to catch them. You just need to see them. Yeah. Always have an open eye to opportunities out there. You never know, So
true. So true. Just have conversations with people. It opens everything up, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So any words of wisdom that you want to leave us?
So I think listen to your instinct, and all the answers are in you. We always seek for external validation of whether we are doing things right or wrong. You have everything in you. Take your time, listen to your instinct, to your wisdom. Never lose yourself because of someone else. You are perfect just the way you are. And I quote Ralph Waldo Emerson, always do what you are afraid to do. And every day, one thing I will say, set your unstoppable goals you want to achieve that inspire you and make you thrive. Yes.
Wow.
That is really important. And make sure you stay on course, always be intentional, integrate what serves you in your attempt to achieve your goals. And also, that's also important, let go and detach from everything in gratitude, that is limiting and inhibiting you, what does not serve you anymore. That's what we need to let go, because we need to make room for something else.
So
That
true.
helps us to
So
grow.
true. All that stuff that we drag around, from the past, we don't have to hold on to it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like to give a recommendation of a book. I love the book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's all about finding and living in your zone of genius. And it's allowing yourself to play big, learning from the lessons in life and leaping.
Yes, it's called The Big Leap.
The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. So that helped me a lot.
Yes. Well, I'm going to definitely order that book. Thank you for that. And thank you for those incredible words of wisdom, for sharing your story, for sharing about this incredible business that you created, and, what a contribution you are to the world. And I really, really appreciate you being my guest tonight and sharing so much with us. Really, really. So it's very honored to have you here, Bridget.
Thank you so much, Eileen, for giving me the chance to be your guest. I very much appreciate that. I feel privileged and honored. Yeah, and next week I'm going to have you on my show.
I'm excited about that. I'm so excited. Yes, I can't wait. Thank you for the invitation. I really am so excited. Can't wait.
I'm excited to hear more about you and what you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sure I can learn a lot about wardrobes and
yes, we're going to talk wardrobe. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's just fun, right? Because that's part of your brand, right? The way you show up in the world with clothes and hair and makeup and everything. And so.
Okay.
Yes. So, and everyone, thank you for joining in tonight. We so appreciate you watching and tuning in. And if you just caught us now or in the middle, you can watch the replay. So. And I will see you here next week. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Bridget.
Thank you, Eileen. Thank you.
Great rest of your day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye all.